Welcome back to Suns Valley Podcast, everybody. After the Suns just won a game that, honestly, Sundo, I didn't think that they were going to have any business winning if you just look at the way the second half was going of that game. They came out and looked great through two quarters and totally let the lead go in the third. They were getting beat up in the fourth. It just looked like one of those games that you have to accept as a loss, and I was ready to do the post-game show and talk about how, well, Devin Booker can't play great every game. And, it'd be nice if we had Grayson Allen. And what's this team going to look like with Jalen? Didn't need to do any of that. They just won the game, like, in insanely improbable fashion, down like 5 to 7 points with under 30 to go. This was a insane example of what Brian Gregory and Matt Ishbia preached when it comes to being aligned and scrappy and never quitting. And hats off to Colin Gillespie, I have to say. He's turned himself into a real rotational player from a two-way. And if you guys were here during that Blazers live stream, you might have heard Torrey kind of complimenting Colin Gillespie. I heard him on his stream talking about how he wishes the Blazers could find a two-way who's a shooter and turn him into a real rotational piece that can actually be a threat to spread the floor. And Gillespie's doing that and more. I mean, without Grayson Allen, did he not fill the Grayson Allen role perfectly?
Yeah, man, he absolutely did. And shout out to Brian Gregory, as you mentioned. He just seems to have a knack to find underrated talent, specifically in two ways. He found Toumani Camara, and I know that the Trailblazers fans right now aren't big on him, but they were big on him last year, and he played pretty well last year. So Toumani Camara, you can give him credit for that. Colin Gillespie and realizing that talent. Isaiah Livers has given us some pretty decent minutes this year. I'm ready to see what Jamari's got for us. And then also it makes me excited for Kobe Brea also in the future. That's to see what Kobe Brea's gotten. So, you have to, give credit to Brian Gregory for sure for finding all of these players that he just seems to have a knack for it.
He also selected Ryan Dunn late in the draft, where a fool like me might have taken Tyler Kolek.
Yep. And there's also as well. But shout out to Colin Gillespie. Also give him credit for bringing Jordan Goodwin back. Jordan Goodwin had a really good game tonight as well. He basically had that clutch three and then that steal and that layup to tie it up. So, give Jordan Goodwin his flowers as well. He ended up with 4 assists, 6 rebounds from 13 points, 6 of 9 from the field, dude. So that's huge from Jordan Goodwin to end this game.
There is no universe in which the Suns win that cup game versus the Wolves if Jordan Goodwin doesn't do what he did late in that game. It's just that Gillespie got the final dagger, and so he gets that claim to fame. Video is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, FanDuel. Sundo and I will be using FanDuel Sports all season for every bet and parlay, and so should you. Sign up today and start winning money on the Suns. We probably should talk about Devin Booker's, should I say, brutal performance, because everybody is squawking about that.
It wasn't his best performance. Brutal. That's a little mean, but yeah, it wasn't great. I'll just be honest with you. And he's kind of been like this the past few games. He's had some inconsistency. I know there's a lot of haters that were in our live stream saying, "Oh, Sundo, you're being too critical." But Booker has just had more of these games than not this season. And so I would like to see a little bit more consistency from him, a better shooting percentage, not turning the ball over as much. This might have been his worst game of the season. I don't even think it absolutely is. He was 4 of 18, had 9 turnovers. Now he did have 10 assists, so you got to give him credit for that. Ended up with a double-double there. But yeah, this was definitely shooting performance and turnover-wise the worst game of the entire season. But again, as we mentioned, the bench players stepped it up. You got to be really positive on the bench, dude. Here's something, Gabe. The entire starting lineup, all point differential, every single one of them negative. Royce O'Neal -4, Dillon Brooks -3, Ryan Dunn -5, Mark Williams -15. I hate seeing that from Mark Will. And Booker a -2. But if you go to the bench, everybody that played off the bench was a positive in point differential, which made up for everything. Livers +1. Oso was a +8 Gabe. Nick Richards +3. Goodwin +8, and then Colin Gillespie with the biggest one +14. And so the bench absolutely stepped it up this game. Give them all the credit. And then also, Gabe, this win keeps us in the hunt to go to Vegas. This was huge. We gave the Timberwolves their first loss of the group. So the Timberwolves play OKC next, so they got to play each other. One of those teams have to lose. All we have to do is beat the Kings next, and we're going to Vegas because we will have a tiebreaker over the Wolves because we beat them, point differential, etc. This game was huge all around, however you want to look at it, whether it was Gillespie playing well, Goodwin playing well, your bench showed up, which shows that your team is more than capable of competing if your bench can show up whenever your starters aren't really playing the greatest. And then also cup standings was absolutely killer.
You know, to me, this game kind of reminds me of, but is better than, because we are better than that team. But you remember the Tyler Ulis game-winning three-pointer that he hit versus Boston where we had to score. We had Brandon Knight. We had to score a bunch of points at the very end. This had that type of unreal, oh my gosh, can't believe we actually won. But this isn't a team that is as bad as that Suns team was. Like, this team has a real shot to be pesky and be a playoff pest in a way. That team didn't have any chance at that. But as far as the cup goes, man, when we had Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant and the belief that, hey, we've got a big three. If we're healthy in the beginning of the year, we've got a real shot at this mid-season tournament. We fell flat on our face every time. Like, injuries got in the way. We just got out to terrible starts. We'd lose a game that we absolutely shouldn't, or the refs would completely screw us in favor of the Lakers, something like that. This year, though, everything is falling our way, like you were saying. We just stole a game inside the cup, and we still have a huge point differential from that previous win that we had in the cup. So I can't help but feel like we are getting the lucky side of the stick here, where everything is just ushering us in that direction. And like I told you during the stream, I'm happy, dude, if we just go to Vegas. I don't need to win it. I ain't greedy.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, dude. I will want to at least go there because the expectations for this team in the beginning, we even said it. Like, hey, bro, the expectations for us aren't super high at the beginning of the season. I would like to go to Vegas and compete for the cup. Me and you both said that, and knock on wood, that seems to be happening. We just have the Kings coming up, and that's a game that we should win. Like, we should beat the Kings, and then that would make us 3-0. We play OKC at that point. Really doesn't matter because OKC and the Timberwolves got to play each other. Also, Gabe, we put out a video a few days ago talking about the 12-game stretch that was coming up. I am also very happy that we basically stole the first game of that 12-game stretch against a very good Timberwolves team. So it's a good start all around. Very happy. I'm glad that we don't have to make a video about how Devin Booker failed us and this and that and had a bad game. Like you mentioned, that we have to talk about that post game. We basically stole a win. The cup stuff's looking positive. Like, overall, good night.